reason why it's hard for chosen ones to keep a job nowadays, it's because simply you do not belong at that job. It's simple as that. You're just not the right fit for a workplace environment. You see, your potential is not fitting for just a regular 9-to-5 salary, right? I'm not saying that if you are chosen to do something more in life, that you're not able to work a regular job. No, you're able to work a regular job. It's just you're not meant to be there for long term, right? You're gonna have more of a dread going into work. The anticipation of clocking in and punching in a time clock 5 days a week, that's going to wear thin on you. That's going to wear you out, man. It's going to get to your psyche. And like, oh man, I got to do this thing again, man. I got to get up and go to the same job, see the same people, report to a boss I don't even like, do the same old shit that I've been doing for the past couple years now. That feeling of dread is gonna hit hard for you because you're meant to do more with your existence. You're not meant to work under someone else, right? Because God, the Lord, has called you to do something more with your life. You know, He has called you to do something better with your life. Something that gives you purpose, meaning, a sense of duty, right? So you're gonna follow that purpose naturally. But you have other reasons to work that 9-to-5. And one of those reasons is your financial situation isn't looking too good. You may be stuck in debt. You may be struggling with rent and other utilities and other bills, right? You're just going through a hard time financially, right? So you may have to settle for a while to work this job, this mundane job that you don't want to work, but you know you have to do it in order to sustain some type of living situation, right? To get by every month. And I know it's hard, right? You just want to get up and leave and quit. You know, it depends on your situation. Should you, as a chosen one, knowing that you do not belong at a job, knowing that there's a higher purpose for your life, knowing that, you know, you're just not the right fit to work a job, right? And knowing you're not going to last long there. Should you quit? Should you pack it up? Well, here's what I got to say about that. It depends. It heavily depends on your situation. You know, you don't want to quit because you have something better to do with your life when you're still stuck in debt. Your credit score is low, right? You barely have $100 in your savings account or checkings account, right? You're struggling to pay your rent. You do not want to quit at that point. You just don't, right? Now, in the meantime of you working this job on your off days, once you get off of work, you should be working on your craft. You should be establishing another source of income, right? I believe everybody should be doing that, but a lot of people, man, like to settle. A lot of people don't want to recognize their true worth. And I get it. It's hard to recognize your true worth when you're told something completely different your entire life. and you're fed a whole bunch of nonsense. You're fed a whole bunch of, negative reinforcement your entire life. You were not around people to give you that positive reinforcement to build you up. They had told you, graduate high school, go to college, and get a regular job and retire off of that regular job. Work until you're 65 and collect a little pension. That's what they told you. That's the old way of doing things. That's what our previous generation told us to do. And if we weren't going to stick to the plan and stick to their way of doing things, then we were going to get looked at like we were crazy, right? We were going to get looked at like we're stupid, like they know better than us, right? That they have it all figured out and that we don't know shit. But the thing is, this is just a different time and age, a different generation that we're living in. Times have changed. The way that your parents did things back in the day is not the equivalent of what's happening today, right? On what my generation is doing today. Because they have figured out there's a different way to make a living. They have found another way to make a living. They have found an alternate way to establish a living in this country. Not the old way that their parents force-fed them, right? We just have a different way. We adapted to the times, to changing times, right? But at the end of the day, man, if you feel like you have to quit that job and it's holding you back, but you're in a better financial situation, you got your shit together financially, then yeah, of course. If you establish yourself in this craft that you're working on and you've already developed another source of income outside the 9-to-5 job, then yeah, quit. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. We're all not meant to work a 9-to-5, whether you chose it or not. We all have a certain calling that we have to answer and that we have to follow. But see, a lot of us don't realize it until it becomes available to us at a certain time. And sometimes a person's calling may not be revealed to them later down the line. Just because your calling was, made available to you and your calling was already revealed to you, that does not mean for everybody else their calling is going to be revealed at the same time as yours. Their calling is going to come at a whole different time, And really, when it comes down to working this job, this dead-end job, and the element of you leaving that job, right? It really comes down, honestly, it comes down to what you are willing to tolerate, right? What are you willing to tolerate when it comes to that job that you're working? What are you willing to put up with for a certain amount of time before you say, F this, I'm out, I'm done, I had enough, until you finally reach that breaking point, Don't be ashamed of yourself if you can't keep a job for more than 2 or 3 months. But if those bills got to be paid, man, if you got to make the end of month's rent, right? And you got to save up for certain things and, make certain investments, then you got to do what you got to do. You got to stick it through. You got to stick it out. You're going to have to, And a big part of growth, man, is to do things that you don't like to do. There's growth in doing things that you don't feel like doing. A lot of shit that I don't feel like doing, I'm still doing. right? But I know it builds character. I know when I clock in, when I punch in, I'm not looking to make friends. I'm not looking to impress a boss or a manager. I'm not looking to go the extra mile to perform my work. Like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I got a routine. It is what it is, and I do what I got to do and keep it pushing. You know, I left many jobs. In the past decade, I've had about 8 to 9 different jobs. You know what I'm saying? And I've left those jobs because they just weren't paying good. Simple as that. You think nowadays I'm gonna settle for a job that pays me $10 an hour? Hell no. You lost your damn mind. But that could be for a whole different discussion. You know, in terms of a chosen one, not meant to be at a job. Honestly, it comes down to what you're willing to tolerate at the end of the day. It also comes down to, if you gotta pay those bills, man, and you're stuck in debt, and your credit score is looking shitty, then leaving that job wouldn't be necessarily a good idea. You know? It wouldn't be a good idea. It'll be one of those things where you're just gonna have to stick it out and push through. So that's all I'm saying. You know, hopefully this video helps somebody, you know, gain a certain perspective, and, you know, want to talk about this topic. So that being said, this is Mr. Solo Dolo. Like the video, share, comment, all that good stuff, and I'm out. Peace.